Okay, welcome to another edition of Reno Real Estate Today. Today we're going to be talking about kind of the pros and cons of what's going on with golf here in the Reno Sparks area. We're going to talk about the Dandrea Golf Course and the Somersett Golf Course. So stay tuned. I got John Mackey joining me right now.
It is going to be a beautiful weekend to spend golfing, but now there is one less golf course in Washoe County.
Dandrea Golf Course in Sparks is closing as we speak at 5 o'clock after a proposed deal to help fund the struggling course through homeowner assessments was turned down by the residents there.
News 4's Dora Scheidel is at the course now, and she has the latest on these developments. Dora?
Good evening, Joe and Shelby. Yes, I'm here at the Dandrea Golf Course in Northeast Sparks. The deal would have charged homeowners an extra $28 a month to fund the struggling golf course. It would have raised an estimated $590,000 for the Dandrea Golf Course, but the homeowners were not on board. The Somersett Golf Course was having similar financial issues a couple years back, but their developer, Blake Smith, acknowledged the important role that golf courses play in these types of communities.
Once that golf course is established and intertwined and part of the community, to have it disappear at a point could have far-reaching, could have catastrophic home value prices.
One woman I spoke to was extremely upset today. She didn't want to go on camera, but she was actually crying as she spent her last day on the golf course. Reporting live at Dandrea Golf Course in Sparks, I'm Dora Scheidel. Back to you.
Okay, joining me now is John Mackey, who's actually, John, you're on the board of directors at Somersett, right?
That's right, yep.
And you're actually the treasurer for the country club.
Yep, correct. It was voted in August of 2011.
And I think they're keeping you busy, aren't they?
We've had a good run at it, and we're really pleased with the progress we've made.
Okay, now real quick, we all saw this article that came out over the weekend about the Dandrea Golf Club closing, didn't we?
Yes, indeed.
And that's not good for anybody.
No. In fact, the whole of the area doesn't need negative news. They need to recognize that there's so much positive stuff going on.
Exactly. And we all understand with the economy that, things like that are going to happen. Northgate went out of business in 2008, and, golf is a tough business right now.
Yeah, it is. And the whole paradigm, I think, for the conventional country club is changing. We're seeing that across the country. And from our point of view, we're really excited about the energy and the direction that this club's going.
Good. Just to paraphrase what happened with Dandrea, they owed about what, $300,000 in back water fees?
Yeah, well, I mean that's the event that precipitated it. Okay. Their water sourcing came from the city. They fell into arrears on that, and it was in excess of $300,000. I understand that they owed that amount. That essentially the city did what they needed to do, or Tumwa did what they needed to do, which was cut them off at that point. And at that point, their options were really to find somebody that actually could bail them out.
Right.
And it reverted to the homeowners to decide that.
Sure. So what they're trying to do is increase all the homeowners' dues by $28 a month.
Right.
They took a vote, and I think there was about almost 1,000 people vote, and there was only 200 that voted for the plan. Correct. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that the situation over there was pretty dramatically precipitated by this default position with the water sourcing.
Right.
Lots of uncertainty. The homeowners association was at odds with the developer, at odds with the course, a lot of friction there. No real sense of how to get out of that quagmire apart from the residents funding that deficit, and all the uncertainty about what comes next. So it's very understandable from the point of view of the last minute nature of all of this that you could see it would be fairly predictable that the vote would go negative, even though it's hugely detrimental to the property owners.
That's what I think. I mean, to me, it seems like a pretty inexpensive insurance policy to keep the values up. I mean, since Dandrea is a golf community.
Exactly, and there's just so many other things that fall out of that. That course is a magnet for the attractiveness of the area.
Right.
The property values most certainly have to suffer relative to the way the rest of Reno is going to recover, and certainly this area in Somerset's going to recover.
Sure.
And I think that we're going to find that that was an extremely short-sighted outcome. However, it was precipitated by the last-ditch nature of the whole thing, and the way in which the whole of that community was not united about where they were headed.
So you think it was not really thought out, it was kind of a last-minute, last-ditch effort, and it just wasn't well received by the homeowners?
Yeah, exactly. When you're essentially pushed to default, your options are over. You have no real ability to take a plan forward and recover it. And it's very difficult to make skeptical citizens or skeptical community members
Exactly.
buy into one or two rounds of discussion on the future of something like that. So I think the outcome there, in my opinion, simply is that that's not a big surprise.
Sure.
That it ended up that way. It's really a shame, but it's not a big surprise.
It is, and we wish Dandrea the best of luck in getting that turned
Exactly.
around. Hopefully they can get a new owner fairly quickly and
Yeah.
and get back in business.
Precisely, and the area certainly will benefit if that
Yeah.
happens.
Okay, also in that article, I know it was kind of a one-sided type article where they lumped Somersett into that deal, made it sound like we were losing money hand over fist, which
Right.
I know we lost over $600,000 last year.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. In fact, we had lost north of 600,000 in both 2010 and 2011, and this course, when it was reverted to the equity members early in 2010, it came with a cash position, a positive cash position, and we were eroding that available cash fairly quickly. So there needed to be some a direction change
Right.
for the club, of which several components have contributed to put us into a stronger, much stronger position today.
Sure, and I think that's one thing we need to talk about. Somersett is completely 100% member-owned, right?
Exactly. We have no debt. We have all of our water and water rights secured. We have everything that it takes to be successful and prosperous as Reno and the area recovers.
Sure, and you guys had about a 2 to 3 year plan to kind of get that turned around using some of that cash that the developer gave you, right?
Exactly. When the club became member-owned in mid-2010, basically, there was a position that it would take around 2 years to turn the club around, and that from that point forward, we'd be essentially not having to draw on our cash reserves. And I'd say fairly, our 2011 results were not as strong as we had expected. We were, I think, projecting a little bit of a little better recovery in the local Somersett community
Right.
in 2011. That didn't materialize, but nonetheless, we came through 2011, and 2012 is looking very strong.
Yeah, so again, that was in, I think, the fall of 2010 that it was turned over to the members.
Correct.
So this fall will be 2 years, and I think as of right now, looking forward, in the month of February, you're already showing a positive, right?
Well, it's better news than that, actually. January and February were both net positive and cash flow positive. First 2 months in the history of the club where that's been the case. And we've got a budget and a team that's really well focused on it. We're really
Yeah.
pleased with the way that's all come together.
No, and I think the whole community's happy the way you guys have kind of rallied the wagons, and you've got this thing turned around. You had to make some hard decisions
Yeah,
the latter part of
exactly.
2011. You had to make some cuts, which
Right.
weren't popular with everybody, but it's something that had to be done.
No, that's true. And my business is actually turning businesses around.
Right.
I do that in the oil industry, but the scenario and the requirements are much the same, and the way you can analyze what's needed and how to go about it is much the same. So it's clear to me anyway, and I have good confidence that if we can keep on the track we're on, this will be a very nice success story.
Okay. I know in December of last year, you guys came up with a new plan to enroll some new members, right?
You're right, exactly.
And that's going gangbusters. I think we're over 60 members right now?
Yes, that's right. In fact, we opened up a series of memberships called preview memberships, which have been hugely successful. We've sold 63 so far. Our overall club membership levels are at the highest it's ever been.
Right.
There's this very nice positive energy and enthusiasm among the club, and we're interesting so many of the Somersett homeowners here that are part of this alliance now
Right.
with the SOA in terms of what the offerings are, and helping them realize that this club is here and that it's part of their community, regardless of whether they're a golf member or not. And we've had some very positive feedback from a large cross section of of the members that we've spoken with.
And that raises a good point. There's about 2,400 residents here in Somersett.
Right.
And I know you guys put together a deal with the developer, where the developer approached you
That's
about
right.
improving the experience at Somersett.
Right.
And I know it's the SOA, the Somersett Owners Association, is going to be giving you guys about $400,000 a year, right?
Well, yes, it's basically an alliance. We are adding amenities, opening up amenities to everybody that's a member, that's a resident here at Somersett.
Right.
The thought being that those are the kinds of developments, if you look at Artist Camp, for example, at
Right.
very high end, but the same kind of model, where it's the amenities that are creating the attraction. That attraction is attracting new homeowners and buyers. That's the relationship that the developer approached us with. We worked long and hard on
Sure.
a package of amenities that made sense. We're investing $200,000 this year in amenities for the Somersett residents
Right.
that we'll manage and support. And the whole alliance is really a balanced one, in my opinion. And the fee structure that we're receiving is actually $15 per resident per month,
Right.
which is not in addition to anyone's homeowners association dues at all. It's just a reallocation because of the priority that the Somersett Owners Association placed on this concept of expanding the amenities, which may well prove to be one of the wisest decisions any of the development areas in Reno will have taken.
Right. So again, no increase to any of the homeowners.
Not at all. In fact,
Okay.
many of our dues went down $5, $4 a month
Right.
relative to last year, even with this increase in the amenities and activities here at Somersett.
Okay, and I know right now all residents, whoever lives in Somersett has access to the par 3 Canyon 9 golf course just for being a resident. And now with this new deal that you guys put together, they have access to the dining room, the driving range?
Yes, we've expanded our bar and grill at the golf club to make it a more of a full-scale dining experience. That's set for. We've done all of that starting January 1st, and we're expecting to open on April 1st to the whole community.
Okay.
We're excited about that, and I think we're going to have some really good opportunities with that. We're modifying the driving range so that any Somersett resident can come and use the driving range. We're adding a bocce ball,
Right.
a couple of bocce ball courts. The interest in that was expressed early on among many of the residents. We're even putting in a fishing. We're stocking one of the ponds on the Canyon 9
Right.
for fishing, which will be fun for the kids and
Oh, yeah.
a nice summertime activity for the family. And then next year we're going to add a putting course. It'll be a professional style putting course that'll be fun for the whole family to get out on as well.
Okay.
And then we'll continue our dialogue with the association to see what makes sense from that point. So.
And you also give them access to rounds of golf at the country club, right?
Exactly. So the $15 a month gives every resident of Somersett 2 rounds of golf,
Okay.
including 2 foursomes. And for 2012, the fee is simply $40 per resident to play.
Wow.
So
Great deal.
that's a great deal.
I think the biggest thing that, I think everything you're doing is very positive, but to bring the full service restaurant to the community, because I mean, we've already seen the menu, it's going to be fantastic.
Well, we're hoping, and we want that to be a positive experience. All of the members of the club that are up there now realize the energy and the terrific camaraderie that exists, and we're all looking forward to having the community be part of that. It's going to be terrific.
Right.
And we've already we've undertaken a series of introductions with the various segments of Somersett here. Invited them up, given them a little introduction of what's what, made them familiar with the surroundings. Had really good feedback from virtually everyone who's attended that. It's been very, very nice.
That's
So,
great. And I know
that's,
anytime you've got 2,400 people living together in a community, everybody's not going to be happy all the time, right?
Well, certainly, and with reference to the dissenters among this, I think it's important to realize that the association had many open discussions about this
Right.
leading up to the vote. And when the vote was taken, even with those that showed up at the meeting, there were more people in favor of this than were negative about it. So, yeah, it is difficult, if not impossible, to please everyone all the time. But for us, we just need to reach the majority of our community here.
Right.
And I think everybody will find something very positive to take away from this.
Another point, I know Somerset's HOA is 100% funded, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
As opposed to some of the other HOAs in town that are struggling.
Right. No, that's right. And so this isn't diverting anything away from the future or the security of Somersett Owners Association.
Right.
It's actually expanding the amenities to the residents here.
Great. One other thing before we go, obviously, since I'm in real estate, want to talk about values in Somerset. And I know in the last 3 months, if you look at the percentage of what things are selling for relative to what the asking prices are, Somerset is head and shoulders above any other part of town as far as demand. We're getting multiple offers out here. This community is just in demand.
Well, that's really good to hear. It's certainly in keeping with what our approach was going into this whole alliance with the association. Look, the 400,000, well, let me back up a little bit.
Okay.
We actually receive 700 and some odd thousand, 730,000 from Somerset Owners Association each
Right.
year. The 330,000 approximately of that is for our maintenance of the Canyon 9 golf course, which is owned by the association.
Okay.
That amount we basically competitively bid for, and we've been providing a very good service there, and took it over from a maintenance contractor that was not doing so well. So that leaves the 430,000. That 430,000, of which amounts to $15 a month per Somerset resident, is not even 20% of our operating budget. It is not the core of
Sure.
of our business whatsoever. And if we stay on track and continue hitting our budget numbers each month this year, we'll have spent $200,000 on amenities,
Okay.
and we'll have a net operating gain in excess of $100,000 at the end of the year. So this whole thing is certainly important and useful at this time, but the alliance and what we're building for the future is the key, and the 430,000 certainly isn't the make or break here. It is a part of our overall structural change.
Right. And I think just by you guys taking over that Canyon 9, I mean, I know you have the best superintendent in town.
Yes, exactly.
And by getting them, I know you can maintain that course a lot more efficiently and a lot better than somebody who's not used to maintaining a golf course.
Yeah, and the quality of the course shows it already.
So it's great news.
The other part of this too is that we think it's going to be a wonderful opportunity by combining the operation of the two courses, which is part of our alliance requirement with the homeowners association. What we're going to be able to do then is to use both courses as a means of raising the interest and participation in golf and outdoor activities here in the community.
Right.
And we're really excited about the potential for that. We've got some really great things on learn to golf and how to get golf going, and
Oh, good.
and realizing that golf is as much for the social aspect of a community as it is for the outdoor.
Absolutely. And I know
Competitive side.
Somerset with Stuart Smith has one of the best kids programs in town.
Yeah, they do. The junior golf program is outstanding.
Yeah.
We're really, I mean, it's Stuart's passion, which so many of us all share as well.
Yeah.
And that's without question that the junior golf program here is just absolutely robust and doing great.
Well, good. Thanks for the good info. Maybe when you get the putting course done, we can get up there and get a video and put it out there.
That'll be true. It'll be in April or May of 2013. We'll have the putting course done.
Sounds good, John. Thanks.
My pleasure.
See you.